Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody out there in social media land, blog land, TV land, wherever you're at. Welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat here in sunny Port Richey, Florida, and my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, is somewhere in an undisclosed location, a bunker, if you will, in northern Texas. Hello, Mr. Reed.
Practicing my saluting. So when my boy Dallas comes to town, he's in the Army now, so I gotta learn how to salute him. So anyway,
It'd be a good time to see him. Good time to see him. We've got some exciting news for our viewers and listeners. Just kind of like a radio show that gets to be broadcast in a new territory or new city or new area. We were just told by the executives of the OBBM network that we're currently in about 14 to 15 different cities. Here in Florida, we're in or on Traverse TV. If you go to the Traverse TV Traverse TV app or website, and look up the OBBM network, you can see all of our Taboo Talk episodes there, along with us being on Rumble and all the other social media blog websites or social media sites that you can always catch an episode that you've missed and follow us. Always like, share, comment. We'd love to know what you're thinking about, what you think about our show. But thank you, OBBM Network, for promoting us and getting us out into more and more TVs or social media platforms where we can share our, and this would be where you would put this is an opinion-based show. Share our opinions with our listeners and our viewers. Right. We're so grateful for them. Happy? I'm very happy. Yes.
This is an opinion-based program, and we do our research.
We do our best to do our research to make sure we've got the facts. And, we've got some sensitive topics that we're going to be talking about today, and I'll explain why in a little bit after we kind of set things up. So if you want, if you will, Mr. Steve, because that's all on your end. Well, hold on a second. Okay, I feel a little bit better.
So why don't we set things up by telling people that they can send us emails, they can communicate with us through Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. We are live right now, 1:30 Central Time on Facebook and on YouTube, as long as they don't slap our hands. But we're also, as Ray said, on Rumble. We're working towards Getter and several other platforms, but reach out to us if you have anything in particular that you want.
If you have hate mail, love mail, threat mail, whatever, send it to us. We'd love to hear it. If you have comments, pro or con, what we have to say, what our opinions are, we don't mind talking about it. Give us that feedback.
Speaking of opinions, this episode is going to be predominantly focusing on Marxism, socialism, the Democrat Party, communists. I'm sorry for being redundant. Liberals, will throw that in there as well. And the scourge that they are on our society in general. Okay, not just in the United States, but around the world. And Ray, why don't we start by having a little flashback to our friends with BLM?
As Israel reels from Hamas's surprise brutal attack, killing 1,200 and counting, Black Lives Matter chapters siding with the Palestinians. BLM grassroots NLA writing, their resistance must not be condemned, but understood as a desperate act of self-defense. Adding, as a radical black organization, they see clear parallels between black and Palestinian people. BLM Chicago tweeting out this photo. BLM Washington, D.C. retweeting anti-Israel statements. Former NBA star Amari Stoudemire, who is Jewish, slamming the support.
It ain't never been cool to kidnap kids and put them in cages. It ain't never been cool to kill women and elderly. All you Black Lives Matter people who always have something to say and always supported everything else, and you quiet now, you too.
One Instagram user writing, I defended this movement in my circles against accusations of virulent anti-Semitism. And today, I guess I stand corrected. Shame. Chicago and D.C. chapters pulling the post down amid backlash. In New York, the president of the NYU Student Bar Association published a statement saying Israel bears full responsibility for the terror. The future employer rescinding the job offer, the law firm citing a profound conflict of values. Meanwhile, concerns for anti-Semitic violence increasing. Mayor Eric Adams urging New Yorkers to be on high alert.
We cannot let our guards down. We're the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, and we want our synagogues, our personnel, to be extremely conscious.
According to FBI statistics, Jewish people make up only 2.4% of the U.S. population, but account for more than 50% of religiously motivated hate crimes. Anti-Islamic incidents make up nearly 10%. President Biden meeting with a roundtable of Jewish leaders Wednesday to discuss combating rising anti-Semitism in America. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
You know, I've got a question because Black Lives Matter says that it's self-defense, and they've said it on numerous times, numerous different videos that I've looked at. What are they defending themselves? I'm a self-defense expert. What are they defending themselves against? Israel is defending themselves against Hamas, not Palestine, against Hamas that invaded them, shot rockets at them, came in with the parachutes, and slaughtered close to 1,200 Israelis or Jewish families. The other thing is Israel sent, dropped flyers warning the Palestinians, evacuate, we're coming. They didn't surprise them like Hamas did. Hamas didn't say we're coming and send out leaflets and messages on cell phones, text messages or anything saying we're coming, warning anyone. This is a reaction out of self-defense from Israel to Hamas. Now, Hamas uses the Palestinians, children and women, hides behind them like the cowards that they are, so that they could use those images of any damage done to innocent bystanders by Israelis that are fighting back in self-defense as propaganda to promote their agendas. Yes, I feel for the Israelis and the Jews. I also feel bad for the Palestinian people that are caught in the middle between a government, Hamas, that is crazy. That's all I can say.
Ray, here are a couple of problems that people are not talking about. Number one, what does Black Lives Matter have to do with Middle Eastern? I thought the Black race came from Africa. This is the Middle East. This is a southern area, an area to the south of Israel. Okay? So how does Black Lives Matter relate? Shouldn't it mean Arab lives matter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, Israel, frankly, if you look at the history books, the nation of Israel, God gave that region, that landmass, to the Jews 4,000 years ago. And Israel is being very gracious to carve out a portion of land that is rightfully theirs. It's their land, okay? They are allowing people to live there. No restrictions. They can come and go as they want to. Israel is not governing anybody in that region, okay? They're not governing. It just... So the problem comes in that all of the repressive crap that's going on is coming from the Marxist organization Hamas. And I don't care what you say, the background, the roots of BLM come straight out of Karl Marx. It is communist to the core.
I look at Black Lives Matter as they're just making it another opportunity to put on their little black outfits, put on their hoodies and their masks, and go loot and riot and cause more mayhem. Whatever crisis comes up with, Black Lives Matter and Antifa are going to attach themselves to it and say, yeah, we're with them, just because they want to burn down another city. They want to go get free stuff. There's no real morals or values behind what they do.
And all of it has its roots in Marxism, communism, and socialism. So when you look at all of these morons that are protesting on college campuses today, they are pure communists. They are socialists. And the world is getting fed up with their crap. I'm going to give you a little comparison here to the moral fiber of these people. When in recent years, when a team, a baseball team or a football team or whomever, wins a national championship, many of the cities have celebrated by looting, rioting, burning down buildings, causing all kinds of mayhem. However, last week, the Texas Rangers in North Texas, in Arlington, Texas, won the World Series. And you know what you didn't see on the news? Cars being turned over, set on fire, riots, gang crap that's going on. Because here in Texas, we are a civilized group of people. The BLM and Antifa people are not civilized. I don't care what they say and what their cause is. They are not being civilized. Martin Luther King would never have done the things that BLM is doing today, or Antifa, or any of the other people. So
it's funny, they hide behind their hoodies and their little masks that they wear because they don't want anyone to see their face. Yet now that people are coming out that are pro-Hamas, and yelling and screaming and protesting to, from river to the sea to end the Jewish nation, those that show their face are not getting jobs. They're being turned away, which is why these people are cowards that wear the masks that they wear, because they don't want anyone to know who they are or what they stand for. Or get a video of them.
So let's hold on to that, and let me show you the next precious gem. And as always, thank you to executive producer Debbie for her exhaustive research. So hang on.
He's trying to tell children that they are not allowed to be trans.
Yeah, they know.
Listen.
Listen. Let me religions. You can't do that. Yeah, you have to respect that decision.
So they're trying to push the LGBTQ and whatever other things that go against the Islamic religion. And what I would like to say to everybody that is protesting, that is also for all that, I want you to go to those countries. Go to Iran. Go to Palestine. Go to the Arab nations. And protest for LGBTQ rights and see what happens to you.
Ray,
You'll be stoned to death.
No, Ray, here's
You'll be hung, you'll be thrown off buildings.
No, Ray, no. Next June, we need to take up a collection to send 1,000 people to Iran or to Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or any of those other Islamic countries, 1,000 people to have a gay pride celebration, a parade. Mm-hmm. And let's see how many of them come back. We should probably buy them one-way tickets because they ain't coming back.
Yeah, these people, like I said, they're opportunists. They're looking at a protest as an opportunity to cause riots, cause looting, burn the city down, burn police cars, cause property damage, all in the name of Palestine or in the name of whatever that they're doing. It's a joke.
Ray, you've got all of these.
Wake up, America. Wake the cluck up, America.
You've got all of these people that are wearing their hoodies and their masks and all that kind of stuff that are coming out of the BLM and Antifa and all of the other Hamas protests. They're all covering their faces, okay? But yet the people that were protesting on January 6, 2021, none of those people were wearing masks because they knew what their rights were. They knew that the Constitution gave them the right to do the things that they were doing. So they're not ashamed. They're not embarrassed. They're not trying to hide behind a mask. But you get all of these communists and the Marxists and the socialists and the liberals and the Democrats. I'm sorry again for being redundant, but what in the world is going on? They're obviously ashamed of what they are doing. And with that said, Ray, why don't we go to a commercial? Let me cool down a little bit. And why don't you, well, we'll just see what a real hero looks like.
That's what I want. Latch on as soon as you can, make it hard. If I stand on one leg, can you yank me off balance? Yeah. If I stand feet wide, can you pull me off balance? Son, what's the matter with you? How you doing? What was the first thing she did? She walked away. She took her eyes off of me. She looked away. I take her purse. I run. She goes to security. She goes to law enforcement. They're going to say, well, what did he look like? And you're going to be like, it happened so fast. I didn't see him coming. You didn't see him coming because I made you feel uncomfortable. And you took your eyes off me and walked away. The whole point is, and this does not mean I want you to go and flirt and talk to the person, or I don't want you to go, I see you. You know, I just want you to, that's a cool shirt. I'd like to get that because my kids are in soccer. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I'm letting you know I can describe you.
Hey, you do.
Well, I guess the first thing that she did was she laughed at me. So
Yeah, that's true. That is
that
very true.
that hurts the ego. That hurts the ego.
So what does that tell you, Ray?
Oh.
It's either that or...
So we've got some great news. We've got a school. It's an elementary school that I'm going to be talking to about 500 kids tomorrow on anti-bullying and, of course, child safety or personal safety. So excited for the Hernando community to do it. We also have a self-defense program that we're doing Saturday. It's a 2-hour hands-on class. So if you're here in Florida, come check us out. Also, for those of you that are in the Jewish community, synagogues and everything else here in Florida, please reach out to me. I would love to set up some type of a program to raise awareness and give you the physical tools. Now, you can call 911, but there's always a response time. You see all these commercials on TV for home alarms, whether it's ADT or Safe Light or whatever. Yes, alarms are great, but there's still a response time for law enforcement to show up. So you might have to fight for your life, whether it's 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes if you're in a rural area where it takes a while for the sheriffs to show up. Let us teach you how to fight so that you can survive until the next layer of defense shows up. Law enforcement, neighbors, or anyone there to help you deal with that physical threat. In order to help Heroes in Action, as we are a non-profit organization, you could go to our website at heroesinaction.us. By using this QR code, just scan it and make a donation. Anything, $5, $10, $25, whatever you can afford. All that helps to go make our programs available to communities that can't afford to go to a karate school and take karate lessons. So check out our website, heroesinaction.us. If you want information, email me at ray@heroesinactionnow.org.
That's pretty amazing.
It's right on the bottom of the screen, right there.
Yeah. But for those of you who are listening and not viewing, why don't you give them your email address one more time?
Ray@heroes, HEROES, inactionnow.org. We want you all to be heroes now.
Woohoo! Outstanding. All right. We must continue on. I've got another really great video. Again, thank you to executive producer Debbie. And let me see if I can find my next one. Here we go. And this, Ray, I got to tell you, this is poetic justice. Okay? This is poetic justice.
Billionaires who've donated upwards of $600 million to Ivy League schools are now backing out over the school's failure to condemn the Hamas attacks on Israel. The Wexner Foundation writes in this letter, quote, "We are stunned and sickened at the dismal failure of Harvard's leadership to take a clear and unequivocal stand against the barbaric murders of innocent Israeli citizens." The University of Pennsylvania also losing a major donor. Former U.S. Ambassador John Huntsman writing this: "The university's silence in the face of reprehensible and historic Hamas evil against the people of Israel, when the only response should be outright condemnation, is a new low." University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill saying the schools should have moved faster to share their position.
So for all those billionaires that are removing their funding for these universities, hey, Heroes in Action is a non-profit organization. And if you're looking for a place to put your money as a tax write-off, please consider Heroes in Action Incorporated.
Right. No, I'm sorry, but I'm going to correct you on that. They need to sponsor Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
Or that would be great too. We would be happy. Well, let's do both of them. Why not both? Why not
just
both?
put all your money here. Oh, Ray. So, I think it is absolutely wonderful that those that actually have a moral fiber have decided to stop supporting financially the Harvards and the Yales and the Princetons and all of the other Ivy League snobs that for decades have been trying to manipulate the student body to believe a certain way. And this is the most recent. And I think what is happening is the pendulum is now swinging over to the right, and people are getting fed up and tired of all of the bilge that's been going on from the communists and the Marxists and the socialists and the Democrats and the liberals. Again, I'm sorry for being so redundant, but they're finally starting to get they're finally starting to
wake the clock up.
So I am thrilled to pieces that they are starting to talk with their money. Maybe those universities that have been endorsing and supporting this reprehensible behavior, maybe they'll finally start to wake up.
But those universities have also been silencing the conservative speakers that go on campus where they can't. It's that cancel culture where you stand for this, we can't have you. But we're gonna promote and support the massacre of lots of both Jews and Palestinians. It's ridiculous.
No, it is insane. And by the way, Ray, back to what I was saying a little while ago. Did you know that there has never been a nation of Palestine? They are a people group. It is not a nation. Israel is a nation. Palestine is not a nation. Palestine is a landmass that Israel allowed them to occupy back in the early 70s. Just a little bit of history that people seem to have forgotten about. So, anyway, we got to move on because we've got another great video. Thank you to executive producer Debbie.
Any means necessary. I don't know where this comes from. I guess it's ancient, obviously. The hatred of the Jews goes way back. But I was taken aback by this.
You can't tell me you don't think social media has made it much worse.
So you think that's the answer? Because it's got to be something about the Jews themselves, because there are other people around the world who are oppressed. There are other colonized places, not that Israel colonized anything, but why this one place? Why does this arouse, especially among young people? I mean, the young people who hated Trump because he wouldn't condemn the people with the tiki torches, talking about Jews were... You're the ones with the tiki torches now.
I don't think... I think the way... To answer your question, Bill, because I have also wondered about this, the upsurge of anti-Semitism that you're seeing around the world, and sadly in the United States itself, is in a way the most powerful justification for the state of Israel, right? It must feel to Jews everywhere that they're not safe, that the one place they can be safe is the state of Israel. It is the ultimate justification. Why it happens is, sadly, it is the oldest bigotry known to man. I mean, it comes out of, the Christian ideas about, about Jews killing Christ.
But that's not what college kids think. College kids are not hating the Jews.
But I think what happens is there's just this, this upsurge. You have all kinds of different people doing it for all kinds of different reasons. And I think it just reminds you that I hear people saying, well, we should, ban this kind of speech, and there is now laws in France, for example. I don't know that that's the answer. I think the answer is to educate people to understand this is gross, ancient bigotry that civilized people shouldn't believe this kind of thing. That, that's the part that's most worrying.
And when you look at the bigotry, as they said, it has been going on for thousands of years. Pagans have always been against the nation of Israel, against the Jewish people. When America was founded, it was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, Jewish Christian principles. And that's one of the reasons why America is hated so much by other countries, especially Islamic-based countries.
Right.
Because we used to, not as much today, but we used to fall in line with the Jewish principles. And I mean, when you look at Donald Trump and what he did to support the nation of Israel, the fact that he moved the capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, where it belongs. Tel Aviv was never the capital of Israel. It was always Jerusalem. And the Muslims and the rest of the world don't like that. So it's nice to actually hear people like Bill Maher, it's like a pretty socialist guy, for him to be supporting the Judeo-Christian values of America and really condemning what's going on the college campuses.
I think Bill Maher is starting to turn more and more conservative by the day.
You have to wonder who's getting to him, or is he just, I wonder, Ray, is Bill Maher just doing a shtick to get an audience by being anti-conservative?
Right.
Is it a shtick, or does he really believe? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but he sure seems to be leaning more and more conservative in a lot of the things. Maybe he's just waking up. Maybe
the farther to the left the Democratic Party goes, the Socialist Party, the Communist Party, the farther left they go, the more and more moderate Democrats are going to become conservative, I think, personally speaking.
Yes. Well, because really what's happening is the Democrats from 50 years ago are the Republicans today. Democrats used to be all about free speech. They used to be all about human rights. They used to be all about, fair taxes and so forth. And it wasn't this crap of, tax the rich and so forth. This is a 20 to 30 year phenomenon that the Democrats and socialists and the communists and the Marxists, I'm sorry for being redundant, and liberals are pushing us more and more to become like Venezuela and Cuba and communist China. It's like, it's not working in those countries. So why are you trying to make us like them when it doesn't work? And do you really think, if you coming in with these Marxist ideas, do you really think it's going to work out well for you? No, you're going to be the first to go. So,
I think you have a workbook that might help people reset their thinking process.
But first,
life isn't always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it's full of roadblocks. The kind that aren't as easy to fix as filling a hole or repairing a car. Personal roadblocks are another thing altogether. Why do I feel stuck? The same things anger me every time. Why am I doing this anyway? Fixing it yourself can be frustrating and confusing. And if more than one person is involved, DIY might mean destroy it yourself. Maybe it's time for another solution. Steve Reed shines a light on your roadblocks and helps you find the best way forward for you. Stephen Reed Ministries, bringing light and hope for a victorious life. To overcome your roadblocks, schedule an appointment with Steve Reed today.
Ray, back in the early 80s, 81, 82, somewhere in that time frame, I was introduced to a man by the name of Zig Ziglar. And he's got a lot of amazing quotes that he left behind. He passed away about 10 years ago. One of my favorite quotes from him was, "Man was designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness." The problem is that a lot of people, number one, don't realize that they have seeds of greatness within them. And number two, don't know how to pull those seeds of greatness out and to water them and cultivate and nourish them and get all the weeds and so forth out so that they can really start to blossom. As a result of that and the 30 plus years of coaching that I've been doing and all of the trainings and everything that I've been doing, last year about this time, I launched my first workbook. It's called Strategies for Success. And over the past year, oh, it's better than that, Ray. Oh, that was a 30-page workbook that helps you go from where you are. Maybe you're just average, but you want to become excellent or even exceptional. And I realized that over the past year, I had left out 4 major components, actually 5 major components. Number one is, what is your why? So I've got a whole section on how do you define what your why is? What is your purpose? There's a whole section on defining what your purpose is and writing a purpose statement. And then the mission. What is your mission for your life and for your business if you are in business, whether you're in sales or you own your own business? And then we've got to talk about your vision. If you're not talking about your vision, your long-term vision, then you're missing the boat. You're not going to reach the goals. But here's another component that I left out. And I do this all the time. I didn't think about it when I was developing this last year. And that is our strengths. A lot of people focus on the weaknesses. They don't focus on the strengths. So when you're doing your training with your clients, do you focus on their weaknesses or do you teach them to develop new strengths? You work on the new strengths.
I do both.
They have to be aware of the weaknesses, okay? Right. But you don't dwell on the weaknesses. You talk to them about their strengths. And I'll give you a case in point. Several years ago, I was at a meeting, and we had a pitching coach from the now world champion Texas Rangers baseball team. Okay, he wasn't with them now, but he was a pitching coach, and I asked him, when you're working with your pitchers, how many pitches do you work on with your guys? And he says 3. I said, the 3 worst pitches? He says, no, the 3 best pitches to make them better. So if somebody is really good in Taekwondo, you strengthen that skill set. If they're really good in Jiu-Jitsu, you strengthen that technology or that mindset, etc. Now you can add other things in there, but here's the deal, okay? So this is what my front cover looks like. I'll show you another picture of it here. And I've got some amazing things for you, okay? So the workbook was just released earlier this week, late last week. If you purchase this workbook from my website, and my website is scrolling across the bottom of StephenReedMinistries.com /success-planning-workbook. StephenReedMinistries.com /success planning workbook. You pay $27 for the workbook. It is an ebook that is a fillable document that you can change. Keep it on your hard drive and update it every 30, 60, 90 days. But between now and November 26th, if you download this workbook for only $27, if you are so inclined and you are moving forward in your life, I will give you a 1-hour strategy session that is a $300 value. So $327, but you only pay $27. So StephenReedMinistries.com /success planning workbook. And let's get you ready for 2024 so you can move on and be the best you can possibly be. And enough of that. Yes. and that applause and so forth. And Ray, we got to keep going. So I was way long-winded. So, but that's okay. It was so worth it. But you know what, Ray, we got to shift gears a little bit. And again, thank you to executive producer Debbie. When I saw this video yesterday, I'm thinking, oh, we got to get this on the show. And executive producer Debbie was reading my mind. And here it is. This is genius, right?
Everyone has a right in this country to get up and put a defense. I don't care who you are. You have a right to hire a lawyer who can put objections on the record. You have a right to hire a lawyer who can stand up and say something when they see something wrong. But I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged slamming a table. Let me be very clear. I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here. And you know what? You shouldn't either.
For those of you that don't know who that voice was or the video, that was Donald Trump's attorney that's representing him in New York for the AG that's going after him, the judge that's going after him, everyone that's going after Donald Trump and don't want him in New York doing business ever again. She's one tough cookie. I'd want her on my side, yeah.
There's another great video. It's a continuation of her in this press conference.
Are you concerned by the judge's statement that President Trump's longer answers, that he draws negative inferences from?
So let's be clear about why the judge said that. The judge doesn't like when President Trump explains what actually happened because it's not good for his narrative. This is a judge who clearly has an issue. If you've seen his behavior with me, you've seen his behavior with the president today. He has a clear issue with facts that are not good for the case because he already predetermined, and I want everyone to understand, yes, we do not have a jury. Yes, we do not have a lot of things that we should because they brought it under Section 6312. But this judge decided this case and liability before we walked up those stairs. I didn't have a shot. So right now we're sitting here doing a whole dance, and the only thing they want are facts that are bad for Trump. That's why he's silencing him. That's why he's telling him short answers, and that's why he's clearly enraged. His face is red. He came in hot, and he doesn't know how to handle him.
Knowing the judge is the one who will decide the penalties, have you urged your client, President Trump, to keep his answers more concise based on the judge's version?
If my client was worried about people's penalties on him, and that's supposed to silence his right to free speech and his right to take a stand and explain, then I wouldn't want to represent him. My client's done nothing wrong. His answer should be full, and if they try and silence him, the record will reflect that, and we'll deal with it on appeal. Yes. Anything else?
Why did the president plead the fifth last year if he was willing to this process?
So everything is done strategically. I can't get into that. The truth of the matter is, the fifth was done in an EUO, which is a special proceeding. Once they brought the case, we decided it was better to fight the facts. But frankly, I never thought that she would bring the case because once you see what his actual values are, you see that there's no there. But, you know, she gets a lot of attention from this. You all are sitting out here. She comes out. She calls him a liar. I mean, this is third world stuff. You're not allowed to run before you even know what somebody's company is, before you even know what their financials are, and call someone a liar and call them a fraud and base your politics on this. Miss James would not be the attorney general but for President Trump. Let's be very clear about that. And that might hurt her a little bit, but that's the facts. The facts hurt. That's why she wasn't a good governor. She didn't make governor. She didn't even come close. She used this case as a cover. Numbers don't lie, Miss James, to use her own words. Numbers don't lie.
And Miss James gets her funding from George Soros. She's another AG that's funded by George Soros and has an agenda. Yes, it's very riveting to see what's going on. And I'm sure, you know, for the judge to say, no cameras in the courtroom. My opinion is because he doesn't want the public to see how corrupt he is. He doesn't want the public to see his reactions to what Donald Trump says, where everyone can see the biasness that he's got against Trump. It's a sad day in New York.
You know, Ray, Marxist, socialists, Democrats, liberals, communists. Again, I'm sorry for being redundant,
You
but
gotta stop saying that.
they
Just say
don't want.
communist.
They don't want the truth to come out, because when the truth comes out, they are exposed for their biases and their lies and the crap, the bilge that they are spewing. So that's why they're trying to silence Donald Trump and his attorney and everybody that's associated with Donald Trump. That's why Facebook and YouTube and a lot of the other left-wing social media and quote unquote mainstream, they need to change that. It's not mainstream media. It's no longer mainstream media. Mainstream media is actually leaning more and more to the right, to the conservative side of things, because the liberals and the communists and this, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go down that again. But, but when you look at all of this stuff, it's like they can't handle the truth.
Their ratings are in the toilet, and their ratings are getting them to go in the opposite direction, where they're actually playing real news.
This just reminds me so much of the Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise scene from, I think it was Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. And that's the liberals. They can't handle the truth. So when the truth starts coming out, what do? They start yelling and they start shutting down people, or they try to silence people because they can't handle the truth. And that's where we are. Unfortunately, today, it is a crime. My hope is that when this sham trial is done and all of these things are done, I hope Trump figures out a way to go after them, has the judge impeached, imprisoned for denying him of his First Amendment rights. It is it's insane.
And defaming him as well.
Oh, slander. I mean, you name it. And anyway,
Trump's going to become a billionaire all over again.
Again and again and again.
The amount of lawsuits he's building up. Let's go on to our next commercial.
And
especially because it's OBBM.
I can do that. Let me see if I can find Miss Susan and her video here.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events.
And that's the wrong one. I need to take that one out of here. I know. What can I say? I gotta find her. Where is she? Where is she? Ray, keep talking. How do you find it? I can't find it.
Epic fail.
There we go.
Entertainment expands your horizons, takes you on fantastic adventures, challenges your skills. Independent media never looked so good. Welcome to a new sphere of influence. Our words mean business. Traditional families are honored, and the American flag still flies.
So if you're in Florida, look up Traverse TV and look up the OBBM network and search for Taboo Talk, along with a whole bunch of other like-minded talk shows that are on that Traverse network. We're excited to be with them or a part of them, and thank you, OBBM, for everything that you're doing to get all of the conservative talk shows messages out.
The free speech messages.
Yes,
not the liberal lies that are going on, or the Marxist lies, or the communist lies, or Democrat lies. Sorry for being redundant.
For all the communists and your redundant comment. Okay, let's move on.
So, Ray, we've only got a minute or so left. I'm going to throw this plea out to our audience. Number one, send us topics you want us to talk about. Okay, as you can see, we're a little bit off the wall and sometimes a little twisted in our own delivery. A little. But we also do our research.
Executive Debbie, is that you?
Yeah.
Close the door. Close the door. Boy, producer Debbie.
Right, you are sick. You are sick, and she is going to get you in a Anyway, but send us your.
Oh, you just knocked yourself out, Steve. So it's just me. Steve, you got to come back to finish your comment.
You know, it helps when you don't hit a button. So, yeah, exactly. That's why I need somebody else to run this thing on a day-to-day basis, so I can't do things like that. So I just barely touched one thing, and it took me out of the studio. Yep. So anyway, but my point is that people need to talk to us, to send us information, and hopefully help us to address other topics.
Well, we want to give our audience what you want discussions for us to talk about. Let us give you what you want. So text us, email us, give me a call, whatever. It's not like we're not unreachable or untouchable. But we'd love to know your feedback, and we want to give you and talk about topics that you have an interest in and give you the information that so you can be an informed voter and an educated voter for these upcoming 2024 elections.
Yep, right around the corner. Mm-hmm. So we just voted for a bunch of propositions here in Texas yesterday. So more government reach, but anyway, that's another story. So,
yep.
Ray, have a wonderful remainder of the day, remainder of the week, and teach those kids well in that school coming up soon.
Looking forward to it.
Blessings, buddy.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.